Hey everybody, it is March the 6th, about 5 to 3. Um, I am in my, there's the back door to my house. Show you another redneck thing. Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of hubcaps. There's a bunch of hubcaps sitting in there. Just put them up for display. Um, but that's not the reason why I came out today. I just thought I might pull a redneck thing on you. You know you're a redneck when. Yeah, I got this here. It is where I keep some wood in the house, not in the house, but in the back area, because I got it all closed off. As you can see, some of these white tarps that I keep the from the snow coming in here, because I got my snow thrower, a gas can, my barbecue, this wood, so it can stay dry. This is where I'm going to be working today a little bit to just alleviate some stress. Today I'm going to start making a couple of end tables and a coffee table, a matching set. Now I've got two pieces of wood here. Um, they are touching the floor. They are a little over waist height. It may be a little bit from the tip of my fingers to my elbow wide. Now I had about a couple of years ago, I had harvests and some cedars. They needed to come down on my property, so I cut them down. Um, and I have a whole bunch of these. As you can see, I cut them. I dug down into the ground and got them cut down. Uh, these are the cedar stumps. I normally cut them. When I cut down trees, I cut them hydro style so I don't bend over. The only bending over I do is when I dig down into the ground or after I got the tree down. And I cut the last 3 or 4 feet down. But anyways, today we are going to start debarking some. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. But I only really need is maybe 4 of them, depending upon how I do them. And I'll need one per night end table of the couch and that. So I'm just gonna put you somewhere where you can see me. Um, there we go. Now, other than my sledgehammer here, um, and this miniature axe, the other tools I have made by hand. Yes, I do have a welder, so I can prefab some tools. This thing, basically it's held like this, and I'll show you how it works. It's for debarking. I've got this thing here. It's also for debarking, and then I've got this one here. It's also for debarking. I don't usually use this one very often. These are the two that I normally use the most. So I basically start at one end, try to find a half decent spot to get this in. Sometimes you can just put, these stumps have been sitting for about 2 years now, so they're dry, nice and dry. So, which is what you want when you're woodworking. You want it at a certain moisture content. There we go. these tools, they make the job that much more easier. Sometimes when I use this one, I'll probably get you guys a little closer here somewhere. So that you guys can maybe see a bit better. Actually, I can bring this closer. There we go. Get this up here. Where's that one tool I need? Here we go. Sometimes when the bark's too thin and I can't get it with my hands, some of these. Now, so you know, I've been doing woodworking. I am 42 in a couple of months. I turned 42 in January, this past January. And I have been doing this since grade 9. Now, a lot of it, I've had a couple of teachers along the way. I worked for a fella for a few years in the furniture building. He used to make an assortment of stuff, but his primary thing was harvest tables that would average in 3 feet wide to from 3 feet wide to about 4.5 feet wide, from 8 feet long to 8 feet long, from 8 feet long to about 16 feet long. And they were, the cheapest one I seen him sell was a little over $1,500. They can get up pretty expensive. At the same time, yeah, sometimes when you got a little branch, you can pick the bark out of there with this one. So I get the last little bit of what I can off of this one here, and I can move on to the next one, because I want to get as much as I need debarked now, so that I can move on to the next step, which I'll show you another day. So I know in my About page I mentioned woodworking, and I don't want to always be canning or dehydrating, and the weather is starting to get nice out here, so it is +6 out right now, so it's a little windy, but that's why I got this enclosure for the winter. Because the next stage for these will be sanding a bit. Yeah, these are a lot lighter than they were 2 years ago. 'Cause there's very little moisture content in it now. There's a, as you can hear it, right? You can hear that hollow sound. So that's that one. Now, these other pieces of wood my mom gave to me, and you probably can barely see them, but they're from, I got another couple of pieces of wood, and they're cedar. They came from a cedar log cabin that was around 200 years old. Right. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is just with my bare hands. I usually let the stuff dry really well. Drier, the better. 'Cause it's not fun when you gotta, like, see, that's about half of the stump there. And then just take this one here, get whatever I didn't get at the bottom. Sometimes these things do need to be sharpened up a little bit. I would never, because I made them myself and I've used these type of tools before. Unless if you know what you're doing, you don't want to have it going towards yourself like this, because you can cut yourself sometimes, but I do know what I'm doing. You always want to have it going away from yourself as much as possible. Well, see here, anything else? No, that one's good now. I'm gonna have a joint break, and I'll be back with another log ready to go. Okay, I'm back. Um, yeah. Yeah, I normally try to find all the bark that I can peel off with my hands. before I resort to my tools. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I do have a bit of woodworking experience. I choose to do the rustic stuff. It's my woodworking that I did with that in high school. It was really fine woodworking, and not that I didn't like it. It's good work woodworking. I learned a lot in high school from it. One of the biggest things I had found was I do better with my hands. Um, and than I do sitting behind the desk doing this, that, or the other. Um, but one of the biggest things I found that over the course of the years working for that woodworker is I like doing the rustic stuff because it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, which is a nice thing. Okay, now I have to resort to my another piece. Yeah, you don't really want to, like, you can always, this one was sitting where it could get a little bit of moisture, so it's a little more tougher to get at with the bark. Okay, I'm just going to go with my tools now. There's the one I want. There we go. I do have a shed. I think it's almost a 10 by 20 shed. 8 foot by around a 10 foot by 20 foot shed, roughly speaking. And not that I'm complaining, it does what I need it to do, but for the most part, I choose to do stuff in the summer and certain stuff in the summer and certain stuff during the winter. one of the biggest things when you're doing woodworking is you gotta know what you're doing and your reflexes, and especially the tools you're using. Because some of the stuff I do, a new person that's doing it for the first time may not want to be doing it. Some of the things I do, because they might hurt themselves. Uh, and it is very easy to lose a finger or a hand or get stabbed really good with something like this. You gotta have the patience for something like this as well. Not to say it doesn't aggravate me at times, but patience is always a good thing. Yeah, like trying to get in here a bit, and it's tough. So I'm like using the tip there and going in and trying to get it out. Yeah, see that? So sometimes, you know, when you're doing that, it'll come out and you can poke yourself. That's one thing you got to be careful of. That's good enough for now. Alright. So gotta let it sit for a couple more days here for it to get a little bit more drier. Not that it's not dry, but I've got to sand it down or take a chainsaw to it. And especially when I go to take sanders to it, I want it to be about as dry as possible so that it doesn't gunk up my sandpaper. Yeah. The birds are here, are coming back. The squirrels too, they're out. It's always good to have a trade. Or a couple trades or what have you, especially if you're a homeowner. Alright. Believe it or not, some of these spots I do use my keychain here, and I do have one of these folding locking knives, and sometimes even they can be handy to do this. All right. look at that. I found a pencil here. Yeah, probably dropped that last summer here. Get this pencil out of my hat because it's annoying. Yeah, this one's really dry. You get a piece of bark, you know. It comes off that easy. You know, it's dry. All right. Right there. Because I still got some bark from top to bottom. I'll be using this one now. See what I can get off with it. Yeah, so sometimes you got to back it out to like that. You just got to be careful, you know, because it could go like this or kick out on you like that. Cut yourself. Now I got to use this other one here. Yeah. Let's see here. And now these things don't necessarily have to be razor sharp. As long as it can get underneath the bark, it's okay. But they still do need to be sharpened from time to time. And there's still a little moisture in here, but that's okay. That's why it's little. That's why it's giving me a little bit of a fight. In some spots. Sometimes it's just when you're working in these curves that there. And that's why I let it sit for a couple more days after this, just to dry out a bit better. Yeah, those squirrels are out. Yeah. Some birds are coming out. Spring is just around the corner. I'm getting a little bit of spring fever. Cabin fever. Being cooped up in the house most of the winter. Yeah, sometimes, here's a good spot where sometimes there's, depending on how dry they are or how you let them sit, sometimes it's got dirt in there, so you may want a pair of glasses, because sometimes when you're working at eye level like this, it'll go flying into your eyes. I'm bad for not wearing safety glasses. Yeah, like in here, it's got a bit of dirt. Don't. Oh, had some chili last night. It was pretty good. Yeah, I like making my own homemade chili. wind is really blowing today. I can get the rest of that with my knife. It dries out a bit better. Alright, this is step one of making live edge end tables and coffee table. I will make another video in a couple of days when these have had a little bit of time to dry out and a bit better. And so stay posted on step 2. When I go to make a video, this is step 1 of making live edge tables, end tables and coffee table. Keep a lookout for stage 2 of making live edge tables. Yeah, my nose gets a little runny when I do this, but keep an eye out for stage 2 of making live edge end tables and coffee tables, because this will be a multiple stage thing, because this already has been just over 45 minutes. So I want to break it down into stages for you guys. Stay tuned for stage 2 of making live edge tables.